as deep as the safety position, and you guys are planning on, it seems like, running a lot of dime. How does that kind of like play into your decisions when you guys are making the roster cut down, knowing maybe, well, if we're going to run safety heavy scheme, maybe we look to keep a little bit extra on that side than opposed to a different position?
Well, I think it's all relative to how that person fits into the big picture. They play in special teams. Do they have a role on defense? They have to do those things. I mean, if we keep anybody, I know speaking defensively over the years, okay, what's their value on special teams? I'm talking about as the bottom of the roster. Got to be great on special teams, and they have to have a role. And a lot of times when you talk about different personnel groupings like the dime, you'd like a faster guy. Like nickel is the two backers. You know, dime is you bring in another DB like a Rudy Ford or Cisco or someone like that. Over the years in Baltimore, in Tampa where we've been, we put another DB in there. But when you have a deep position at safety and they play well on special teams and they're fast, you'll find a home for them.
Joe, Taven played more snaps than any other defensive lineman the other night. What did you see that you liked, and where does he need to improve going into this?
I'll tell you, he was. You know, you talk about physical. You know, in terms of knockback up front in the base packages and running the football, he was really, really good, and he's just continuing to get better. That was his first real live action, you know, with the injury he had, but just continue to develop, work on his pass rush, and keep finding. You know, he's playing. You know, all the guys up front have to play dual roles, and he did it well the other night.
What do you like about Taven overall, Jim? Just since you've started working.
In my time here, his effort has been really, really good. He's physical, John, and you know, he's playing the techniques that we want, and that's what I like about him right now, and he's going to continue to develop.
What's using his arms? Is he better at getting off the block?
He's doing a good job, right? Let's start with knockback with your hands inside, what we call the difference. He's doing a great job at that. He's got to continue to develop the shed and the use of the hands in the pass rush. He's got to continue to get better at that. No one's where we need to be right now.
So do you have a ballpark number for the D line? What you think you're going to be able to keep?
No, it's fluid. I mean, over the years, when you're in a scheme, it's been 6, it's been 7 in terms of the interior guys. Then you keep maybe 4 on the outside. Is it 5 on the inside? Is it 5 on the outside? It's all fluid, so it's still not there yet.
With Taven missing so much time, do you feel like he might be facing uphill battles to get into that rotation?
No. I mean, if he continues to progress like he did last week, you know, we'll find a place for him.
What do you think about that edge group, guys like Lorente McCray and Aaron Patrick fighting for those final spots on the roster?
Yeah, that you know, Lorente and who's a seasoned veteran with special teams and spot duty over the years. Aaron, I mean, and Jordan, those guys. I mean, it's a battle. You know, and they gotta, you know, it's a battle every day in practice. It's a battle every day, every game, and it's a big one.
Assuming Josh Allen still on the COVID protocol for Sunday, you guys aren't expecting to have him back?
Yeah, I don't know the timetable. I was texting with Josh last night, and the timetable, you know, that's up to coach.
He won't be
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So without him in the picture, what did you see from that edge group and from your pass rush against the Saints, and what do you hope to see against the Cowboys?
Well, you know, first of all, the physicality and the edge with I mean, you look at Smoot and you look at Jihad Ward, they dominated. That's a pretty good offensive line, dominated them. And they both had a sack. And John's going to – I know John said we didn't get much pressure, just joking, John. But, you know, you know, in terms of, like, getting pressure on the quarterback, we had a lot of pressure, I thought, in the game. Certain times, like when they max protect on the first touchdown, we got to help those guys out. Someone's going to win when they block 8. It's basically what they did. So they blocked 8 on 4, so somebody's got to win. And then when the ball is thrown, we got to make the play in the air. And then the other touchdown, we had 2 free hitters. We zero blitzed. So we put the corner on an island. He's got to play the ball. He's got to be off. And then there's no hesitation. You got to go. And then, you know, he made one throw, and it was to the left. It couldn't have been to the right, and they made a good play.
We talked to
Doesn't mean you're not going to do it again. I mean, when a great hitter strikes out, he's coming up cutting again. So don't worry, we'll be pressuring.
When we talked to Urban on Wednesday, specifically talked about Tyson Campbell, second time in as many games that he's gotten beat on similar route of sorts in the end zone. What have your conversations been with him? I know obviously he's banged up right now a little bit.
I think when you look at his coverage ability, he's really good staying with the man. Almost like sometimes he covers him too well, and I say that jokingly. But he has great coverage ability, and then the ability in not even a split millisecond, you got to turn and make that play. That's where he has to get better, and our coaches are doing a good job, Tim and Joe, making sure he's in those positions during the week to be able to do that as we move forward.
about another rookie DB, Andre Cisco? Coach Meyer said he's liked what Cisco's seen. He's fighting for a starting job. Do you think he's ready to be a starter on your defense?
We're grooming him. I mean, he's not ready right now, not at all. I mean, but we hopefully he will be here shortly. You know, it might take time, but he's fast, he's physical, and he's doing some great things. But in time, he will be.
Urban only had, I think it was like 4 guys that he listed he felt were game ready, that maybe they could sit out this Sunday. What's your assessment in terms of, are there any guys that you would say, all right, they're good, they don't have to go against the Cowboys?
No, I mean, there's certain guys that maybe you'd say that, but I think all of us, feel like we got to still get work.
So now that you've only got the one preseason game left, what's this preseason been like, in terms of shortening the game experience tape that you guys get to look at these guys? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Has it impacted things that you would have done differently or anything like that?
No, it's been similar. I mean, years past you had 4, now you had 3, and it's been similar. I mean, you some guys game plan, some guys don't. We've been doing both. You want to play fast, you want to know your assignment, and you want to play to the best of your ability. But it's been very similar to the 4 preseason games, and we've had a physical camp, and it's been great.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. And
Oh yeah, I didn't know if it was gonna actually.
Wait,
Oh, that's
start
pretty
up.
cool.
Yeah. So it's transcribing as you speak.
That's fancy.
What's going on?
To the point, man. How much do you feel from the time that you missed? Do you feel now that where do you feel you're at right now with everything after the time that you missed?
Pretty good for the most part. It's hard to be away for so long, especially important time frames, and especially when you can't be in the building and whatnot. But for the most part, I got on the virtual meetings and then caught up real quick.
With the new coaching staff, new scheme and everything, did you feel a little pressure like you needed to try and get back on the field as quick as possible?
Not as much. I mean, we kind of used to run this in Florida when we had Muschamp, so it's pretty similar to how that kind of works out. So for the most part, it was kind of like a carryover.
So do you feel pretty comfortable in the system then, since it brings you back to your Florida days a little bit?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're fighting for a spot right now going into this final preseason game?
Yeah. Every day.
You feel like you've done enough though already? I mean, you played more snaps than anybody in the last preseason. Do you feel like you've done enough to also feel like, hey, I'm a valuable guy here? And
I mean, you control what you can control, and they gave me those extra reps probably because I've been out so long and they haven't really got to see me, especially most of these coaches. And, I appreciate the extra reps and be able to get in there and kind of show what I can do.
How did you feel after, I think it was, 60% of the snaps or something like that on Monday night? How were you feeling after that one, Taven?
I feel pretty good for the most part. I mean, as long as you practice hard, you run to the ball, you kind of get in shape well enough for the game. Game's a little slower for the most part.
How would you assess your performance on Monday night?
I did pretty decent, I feel like. There's always stuff you want to work on and improve, but, for first time really back and doing stuff, I felt it was pretty decent.
What would you describe yourself as? Are you like a 3-tech? Are you an edge rusher? Kind of, how would you, as I know they've kind of shifted you over the last few years, how would you describe what position you play?
It honestly just depends, to be honest with you, because I like anything from about 3 to a 5. The nose gets a little more difficult, but my size, I don't really have as much problem as a 3. Sometimes if it's just a lot of doubles, it is what it is. But as a 5, it's pretty easy. And those two, that area from maybe a 6 to a 2, I'm pretty comfortable with.
If you showed up on the non-football injury list to start camp, showed up with a black eye, got the rumor mill flying, what happened? How did you end up on NFI?
I didn't get beat up, so that's not doing anything crazy like that, but
Figured you took a hammer to the eye,
Things
an accident
happen.
or something. I don't know.
yeah, no, never had that happen, but
Car accident,
You know.
nothing?
where'd you go? Am I supposed to comment on that? No comment.
Okay, no comment. And then, so what kind of a gut punch was it for that to be out and end up on NFI and then get COVID on top of it and have to spend 2 weeks basically recovering from that?
I mean, it was kind of a crappy deal because I really wasn't doing anything bad to get injured like that, and then I got injured because I was trying to chill out before camp starts, and then I got sick, and then just kind of postponed everything. So kind of slowed down the momentum. You lose like your in shapeness. So.
How much did the COVID whack you out? I mean, in terms of all that stuff, did it take long to kind of get back?
Honestly, not at all. I didn't know I was sick. Yeah, I was just kind of like forced to stay home.
When you reflect back, I mean, you from expectations to not living up to what, I don't know, even your own expectation, what you said last season. How do you summarize where you at right now and looking into this season, not getting your contract, your options renewed and extended? Just overall, what is your outlook? I mean, what is that a motivator for you, or what's this season outlook for you as far as mental?
Probably the biggest and most important thing to me is, I just don't want to let my teammates down. We got a bunch of other dudes that are going to be playing and stuff. So, if I kind of goof off, as a 3 or something, it's going to mess up the nose, the end, the other end. They might not get the production they need, and, it might affect them as well. So it's less like me, like the past is what it is, and I can't control that, but, I can control what I'm doing going forward.
You feel comfortable, you done played the interior, and now you're playing deep, on the outside a little bit, but do you feel you're in the right spot where you need to be at to develop and show what you got?
Oh, yeah, I believe so.
How do you feel about Coach Cullen's approach? Do you feel like he's really pushing you to get the best out of you?
Yeah, I'd say so.
His approach is a little bit different than the last coaching staff. Do you feel like, the way he approaches things helps to keep you guys locked in a little bit more?
Yeah, I'd say so. He does a pretty good job.
You come in the league with Calais and Yannick and Malik Jackson. How different has that room kind of changed in the 4 years that you've been in?
You always get new dudes as you go through. So a lot of the new guys are always usually pretty cool. I've never had any bad experience with players, so for the most part, they're pretty cool.
In the offseason, declined your 5th-year option. What was your reaction to that when the team did that?
Just kept doing what I was doing, working out and trying to stay in shape and getting ready for the season.
Does that kind of change your approach, when that happened? Did that kind of change how you look at the season, or, did you look at it even more as I have to prove it this year?
No, it's the same thing. You just got to go to work and then make sure you get your job done.
What sort of feedback have the coaches given you so far? Like, where do they want to see you improve before the start of the season?
For the most part, I think I've done pretty well. Some of the things I'd like to improve on is like with the run blocking. I want to be a little more aggressive on the get off. I felt kind of sluggish in the beginning, and then definitely more with the pass rush. I'd like to work an edge a little bit better.
Is there like a specific type of moves you like to work on in pass rush, or have you just doing it in general?
According to coach, they really want us to use the slap rip, but that's what he wants. That's
How have you taken to the rejuvenation room? You don't seem like the rejuvenation type guy. To do like a lot of cupping and all those things. And,
I haven't been in there as much. I usually do the same kind of routine. I roll out, I go drain my legs, and then I just hop in the ice tub kind of deal. I'm more of a workout guy for recovery. So.
Old school.
Good, thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Dave.
Dave.
Cool.
Appreciate
Ben, do you see yourself being on a little bit on the edge as far as making the roster right now, and what do you hope to gain out of Sunday to prove that you're?
Yeah, I would say yes, just because of the situation we're in, with the new staff, them drafting Luke, obviously, but it's just a matter of going out there and making the most of my opportunity on Sunday. I feel like I've done a good job up to this point, just taking advantage of my situation, and so just got to go out there and execute and play fast.
When they drafted Luke, they brought in Chris, but didn't make the kind of splash move a lot of people thought they might. A little bit higher draft pick, maybe go after a little bit more high-profile free agent. Not that Chris isn't a good football player, but when the dust settled and you and James and Tyler realized, this is going to be the room, any surprise that they didn't go after, like I said, a bigger profile guy?
I guess not really. I tend not to look at the things, transactions and things like that, news and whatnot. So, maybe a little bit. I guess it never really crossed my mind too much, but just tried to, focus. And obviously, Coach likes the competition with who we have, and so I think that's more important in a position that I'm in. So,
did you take that maybe as a vote of confidence in the guys that were coming back?
A little bit, yes.
I saw you guys on tape and this current coaching staff.
Yes, especially in OTAs. Just doing well there. Just being here the whole off season, I thought I was in a good spot. Just working out, being around the coaches, learning as much as I can. In the off season. So I think it just set us up well for this camp.
But I know that you guys really haven't opened up the playbook completely, so to speak, so far in the preseason. But from what you know, from your expectations, from what you've seen, how heavy will the tight end be used in this offense?
A good amount, just with the different motions and sets that we have. We can be split out, we can be in line, 2 tight ends in the game, a tight end in line and one, flexed out. We have the personnel to do that with James and with Chris, at the 1 and the 2 right now. So the possibilities are there. It's just a matter of what's going to fit us and finding that identity in our offense.
What sort of feedback have you gotten from the coaching staff on your game?
They've seen, I've talked to my position coach, they've seen a lot of improvement just in the pass game especially, man-to-man, breaking away from man-to-man coverage, things like that. Obviously, getting stronger, being here with Coach Schlegel the whole offseason was just another addition that I tried to add to my, arsenal. And so just being able to, move a little bit better in space and things like that.
That passing game work, something you spent a lot of time on, right? I know last year before camp, you were the first guy out there on the jug machine every day.
Yeah. I think a lot of that had to do with off-season work. I worked with James O'Shaughnessy quite a bit this off-season and just working, ball skills, just different things in route running, breaking down and things like that. Watching a little bit of film with him too. He was a big help this off-season in my ability to get better at route running for sure.
Was he able to give you any little tips on your game from him?
Oh yeah, we pretty much worked out every day together, and he's a good guy that he likes to be forthcoming with information, and so I was bouncing questions off him all the time about different things, different looks, just different things you can do with your body to make the defender think one thing and you do the other. So very good resource to have.
Yeah, I know this is a bottom line league and personnel decisions have to be made that are tough. But for the time that you guys had Tim in that room and on the practice field, how did that benefit the group and how did it benefit you getting to be a teammate with Tim for as long as you were?
I thought it was awesome. He's a great leader, just a great person. You guys obviously know that, him being from Jacksonville, and so just being around him and being able to learn from him, things, taking care of your body, just different things like that. He was great at just being a good teammate, a good locker room guy. And I was very fortunate. I'm very glad that he was, a part of our room for a short while.
And, you and Tim and Tyler are kind of competing for the same spot and everything, so more so than the other, but did you ever see it as a competition? I mean, was it a friendly situation, I guess?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we all knew what was coming or what it is a competition, like you said. And so with that said, we didn't let that get in the way of the way that we interacted with each other, eating lunch together. There was no hard feelings towards one another. Everything was a competition on the field, and when we, stepped off, obviously friends. So
getting to know Tim, did you learn not just about football, but is there anything about, being a professional athlete, being a person that you might have picked up from Tim, or
I mean, you could
it was
just,
helpful to you?
yeah, his character and just the way that he presents himself, obviously is one of a kind. And so, like I said, taking care of his body, he had a lot of different things to say about that. And like I said, I asked a ton of questions. And so I was bouncing questions off of him about how he takes care of his body. Obviously, he put on a bunch of muscle coming into this tight end position. And so just things like that were really helpful for me as I hopefully, continue to play at this level.
How about Chris Manhertz? He's the new face in the room with you guys. How has he been able to fit in with you guys that already knew each other?
Yeah, he's a quieter guy, but when he does speak, it's worth listening to. He's obviously very good at what he does, very good run blocker, pass blocker. And so, once again, that's just another dynamic to the tight end room that, adds to our arsenal or our handbag. And so, for him to be able to be very efficient and proficient at those things just helps the rest of us, because we see what we're supposed to be doing, when we maybe make a mistake or things like that. And so for him to be able to, correct us or help us on technique things, staying out later after practice is done, just working some pass sets, has been a good thing for Tyler and I and for the younger guys.
Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, you started last year on the practice squad, correct?
Yep.
Can you kind of walk us through, since obviously cut day is coming, for those that are going to be going through this, what are the emotions leading into that day and then the days and weeks that follow?
For me, especially with last year, I tried to have the mindset of just playing free. I had nothing to lose. Coming in here as an undrafted free agent, I felt that it was an opportunity, and it's more importantly what I made of it. Make the most of that opportunity is kind of the cliche thing. So, I tried to live that, and in doing so, I felt that I had put everything that I could on the table. And with that being said, I felt like I was in a good spot mentally. And so for guys that are on that bubble, it's just a matter of making the most of the opportunity. Leading up to this point, practices, and then these 3 preseason games, just doing what you can to show that you belong. So.
What's it
Is
been
it
like
a
playing
series of phone calls? Is it like a list that gets posted? I know what it actually is, but what are the emotions? We see even with the Hall of Fame week when they're waiting for the knock at the door. Especially in COVID last year, you clearly I don't think had that. But what are the physical emotions that go into that?
Yeah, leading up to it, you never know. You might have an idea, you might not, but it's just a matter of don't get in your head too much. It's something that's out of your control once everything's been done, and so you just kind of have to deal with it. Having a good sound system in my parents and some people back home is very helpful. I have a lot of support back home, and so just having that is very helpful.
What's it like? What's it been like getting to know and play with Trevor so far?
Pretty special kid. His set of skills and everything that he brings, his leadership on the field and obviously off the field. He's got a great character. Is fun to be around. He's a good locker room guy. He's kitty corner to me in the locker room, and so we have conversations every once in a while, about just different things, just life in general. So fun to be around, and he brings a lot of good things to the table.
Well, and Gardner's approach to, everybody thought Trevor, it was a done deal. Trevor's number one. Describe Gardner's approach, OTAs, minicamp, training camp, and to not giving up on that job.
Well, like you said, number 2 is not an option for him. He's a competitor at heart, and he's going to, do what he can to go out there and put his best on tape as well. And that's kind of what he's done. He hasn't backed down, and he's in the same way he's been a good leader, been a good helper to Trevor in the quarterback room, and so I couldn't ask for more from a quarterback in that way.
Ben, you won. How many national titles did you win at North Dakota
4.
State?
4, yeah.
Do you tell Trevor that?
I haven't to him, but I do to James O'Shaughnessy and James Robinson, because they were my conference, so I let them know a few times every once in a while. So, yes, absolutely.
Welcome to the Valley.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks, man.